Gabby the game night, Gabby the game night, Gabby the game night, yay.
Hey, it's Gabby the game night, and I'm back playing some more things, right? It's a Trials and Tribulations, and it's January 8th, 9:46 a.m. District Code Finn, I've been on one, and also Maggie said he's gonna be doing a lot of voices. Oh, round of applause for Maggie. He carries this show. Good morning, Mr. Wright. He doesn't do that voice. I do that voice. You should know that ever since what episode was this? 18. If you're watching episode 18 and you haven't seen the previous 17, then why?
Good morning, Maggie.
So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir?
And also, 95% of viewers aren't side of this channel.
So subscribe. Yesterday's session didn't go so well, and now a giant mystery.
That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part. Are you okay, Nick? Yeah, of course.
I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes.
No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination.
I've played Until with Fox, and I don't believe you.
It's nearly time, Maggie. You'd better get going to the defendant's seat.
Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you.
Who's Roger? Hey, pal! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help.
Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too?
Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Travian's kitchen a couple of days ago.
Wow, look at all these little bottles.
Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many, they're overflowing onto the floor.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others.
The others? Well, what do you know? It doesn't even have a label either.
And it doesn't smell.
We finally got the analysis results back from the lab.
So, what is it? Is it the poison?
I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication.
Medication?
Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yes, the medication Glenn Elk was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elk's ear medication doing in the kitchen? What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but it's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright.
January 8th, 10 a.m. to the code disc. Good now set for trial, Maggie boy.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Ready and waiting as always. Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Cooper. He claimed to have witnessed the defendant putting powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the woman's cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Goodall. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf.
It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick?
Allow me to enlighten you. The wolves keeps talking. like, and we must talk. You've lost me already, Mr. Clown. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's what my view is. You're implying that you've resolved these contradictions. You need the answers to these riddles. The old guy riddled you. The wrong scene. He was the wrong results. It's dead. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. The first witness, look who it is. The first witness, and you are.
Oh, bonjour, everyone. I'm Jean Armstrong, the owner and the chef of the Tribulations restaurant. Enchanté.
Forgive me for asking this, but are you a woman?
Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am la pert and perky gentleman, no?
On the day of the incident, you were at Fabien's kitchen. Isn't that right?
With you, monsieur. Everything feels right.
Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy?
Very well, you touched me, please, witness. Will you tell the court what happened that day at Tribien?
Oui, volunteers.
At Tribien?
When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art deco that day. Like having a large mirror between la tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what la old man was looking at. La cup, la earpiece, and la glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no?
Mirror?
Oui, un grand mirror. La most enormous mirror.
And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so war with it. That'll explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The moon made everything appear back to front.
What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, well, let's ask about that mirror, since it's obviously important. What about the mirror?
How big of a mirror are we talking about here?
Oh, something about 4 meters wide and, oui, about 2 meters high.
Let's see, if 1 meter is about one. Holy glass in the frame, that's huge.
I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually.
Ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember.
Mais non, but I decided not to go through with it in the end.
What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not?
Should we ask him about the grocery shop?
If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Burke's testimonies.
But
Objection!
You didn't ask, Wright. You have only yourself to blame for such slaughter.
What?
A mirror was delivered to Tribien the day before the incident.
Really?
As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turns out, he didn't actually use the mirror.
This just doesn't add up. Even if the mirror was delivered to Tribune, it doesn't prove it was in the restaurant the day of the crime.
Huh. If you want to doubt someone, try looking. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror.
Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse?
oui. Hey, Nick, we should take a second think about what old CD said in his testimony.
How did he phrase it again?
Why are you wearing the earpiece on the same side of the green lens with specs? No question, you can knock me up for more. Use the left ear, without doubt. And they used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand!
If he saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh?
And that clears up all the problems with the testimony, I guess. Or does it?
It doesn't, because if you look at that, if you can clearly see it is on his left, that little thingy. So it doesn't. Huh.
It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of the mirror.
Do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection?
No.
If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony.
But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's got to be something in that old man's testimony. We've got to dig deeper.
I don't know how this is. That's all. I should say. Yeah, one nation.
The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we?
The boys rang the earpiece on the same size as green ends of the specs. No question, can knock me if I'm wrong. Yes, left here without doubt.
So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side.
Exactement. You see, monsieur? Now that you think about it, this is not so hard, no?
Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in the mirror, why is it the HMD is now on the wrong side of the segment?
Order! Mr. Wright is correct. The witness didn't observe the victim reflected in a mirror. Then we will expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. Oh, good. Right, you should have tasted this business. Or called me down.
Yeah, are we talking about your coffee or something completely different?
You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? Remember this, I please.
Yeah, I broke the vase, sorry, apology. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony?
Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit. Other than witness sins. The more impressive something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's most striking about Mr. L? Apparently it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. L has indeed made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles. Oh yes, they were both on his left. Do you hear? His left ear. Huh. Well, fight.
That's the worst, but best impression of Kudo ever.
Oh, let's go down there now.
Wow, I really thought he was old CD for a minute there. Godot's good.
And no, I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash.
A mill can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court what all is.
Oui, I can explain, please, if you will look at la plans of la restaurant.
The mirror, the mirror, the mirror, the mirror, the mirror, the mirror.
Alors, is everything sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was in the middle of la restaurant, dividing the two halves. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of la victim. That was a seat at the table next to la victim's. That was where la old man was sitting.
Impossible.
After that terrible incident occurred, I moved la mirror so it was not in the way.
Yeah, he wasn't there though.
But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
He wasn't there though. I see no problems with the x-rays you have just heard. I do. From the like the victims, Mr. Cool could not have could have seen the victim. I speak.
What a naughty little coquette I am. Confusing all the men like this.
Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out a cold sweat over there again.
Ugh, I hate that guy.
Sarah didn't touch anything apart from the mirror. I'm quite sure about that.
Volunteers, of course.
Very well, Mr. Wright, cross-examination, if you please. Hey, you little liar. You little liar.
And where would that be?
Oh, no. Look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer.
Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once.
I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Shall I tease you too?
I'm already seeing a very hot summer, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Then, I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen. Yep.
So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat?
Mais monsieur, it is obvious, no? If you look at la planche, you will understand. The victim would have been reflected in a mirror, like so. If you were sitting at that table next to him, you would see everything, no? So that's the seat old Cedar was sitting in on that day, when the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim. Why does that seem kind of odd?
So, I think that shows.
This piece of evidence contradicts the testimony we heard, Your Honor.
A crime photo?
Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist.
What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist, huh? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Wright. Now, the defense will please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo? It's the vase. It's the vase. This vase right here. It's this vase.
I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture.
The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness testimony?
Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on the table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence.
Take that!
There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there's an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Dwight. That's impossible. That seat's the only one could have seen the victim's reflection from.
Exactly. There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie.
Mon Dieu!
Objection!
Don't try and confuse the court, Dwight. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the case. While the police were taking their time getting the crimes.
Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself?
I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day.
And this what of it?
Revelation?
Look, I can't speak today, okay?
Today?
Huh?
I sound like you said today.
I said today. And now this revelation. Return back to the original bar. Why did the victim have an earpiece in in air in which he couldn't hear. Huh. You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. You want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, right? And this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw?
If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it.
Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction yet?
There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya.
What do you mean?
Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up.
Oh, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple.
I guess this, obviously.
This case is riddled with contradictions, yet there's one very simple answer that clears them all up.
And what is that?
The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events.
What?
Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake.
Order the court, settle down or I'll clear the court. Twice, Grabs, why don't you clear out of it, huh? What did you say? Right, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup?
Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Get real, Wright. Why would anyone want to do that?
Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was the serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. It sounded better.
That serving girl right there in the fence chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, what?
There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poison. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
You're saying that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well. It's true that there were no other customers at the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. And that's right, our witness. The restaurant really was to see himself theatrics. You have known about it, correct?
Oh la la, this is most difficult for me.
No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there in fact a phony at JPM that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened.
Defendant's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events at the restaurant that day.
Oui. La victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting.
So clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all.
Je vous demande pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I'll decide how to punish you later.
Oui, oui.
And now we'll hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please.
He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. What were you doing at that point. Without any customers, she must have had time to kill.
I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur.
Sorry, what do you mean?
There is la renowned chef Jean Armstrong and la tragic poet Clarice Armstrong.
Clarice?
Oui, I was raising a poem and I can tale of a chef and $500,000 of debt. Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for la court?
Please don't. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred?
I asked la old man to call from la payphone.
By your own argument, Wright. The purpose of this phone video performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity will completely disappear. Indeed.
Bien, it seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas?
I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all.
But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too?
She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember?
Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act?
We'll know for sure once I find a hole in the testimony. Was he alone in the table as well?
Mais oui, I saw him from la kitchen.
Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Objection!
Huh. Unfortunately for you, Wright. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you screw up like that night, of a sudden coffee's bittersweet.
What kind of coffee is he drinking?
It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet.
Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. By all man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct?
Oui, he comes often for my special coffee.
I drank your coffee once, Miss Robinson. It's special, I'll give you that. Worth a sip just for the experience.
Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You're almost welcome anytime.
I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more.
So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe you were told by a witness yesterday.
Crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir.
That perhaps jog your memory, witness.
The incident happened about 20 minutes after we arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. to 2:10 p.m., no?
Just after 2.
Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
I can't sit on the time and do nothing now, can I? Time of day will be added to the list.
Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you.
Or CBN. That's French, isn't it? Ha
At least one person.
He's even humming a song to himself.
Are you absolutely sure about the time?
When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. Oui. It is the time I stopped serving our lunch menu.
I always break for lunch when the restaurant serving their specials. I don't wind up a case early just to make it on time. Ha
Guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch.
Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime early.
Witness, get on with your testimony, please.
I'll present this. There's like 7 papers. Objection! I'm gonna present it here, but get the time listed there.
I'm afraid I've finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be la show Monel was listening to.
There's an problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright.
I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I'm sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving our lunch menu.
Get to the point, Wright, if you have one.
That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
It's on at 1:30?
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No. This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter acting out the poison 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how would you the time? Quite, you're almost on the wall. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song.
What is this, Music Theory 101?
Let's recap. According to your imaginary theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is forming a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then where the real Glen Elg is?
I don't believe I have to spell this out for the course. However, at that time the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious.
Objection!
Thank you, Wright. That's exactly what I told you to say.
What?
Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain what the missing corpse was?
The missing corpse?
According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer. And that customer was the phony one. Then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? Prosecutor has a valid point, Mr. White. They stand up to examination by the court. You must provide us with proof by answering the prosecutor's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor.
No conjecture, Wright. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden.
Evidence? Well, what's with the intense pressure here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
Roll the eyes. Well, Mr. Wright, you now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body concealed? You know, this was in the kitchen. I don't think that the body was in the kitchen, but that is in the kitchen. We don't really have any proof as to where else the body could be. And presumably, the police found the real body. So it can't be outside Fabian, because then, at 5 minutes, when Kudo was out, we couldn't split out the body, assuming that happened. Inside, probably.
It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations.
Interesting. Where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you can show the codes on these plans, Mr. White?
Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Tribulations.
Well, not any of these places. Not any of this place. Maybe this place.
It's a small restaurant. The body was hidden here.
I see. Nice
Supposition.
supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up?
Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? I don't have exact evidence, but she found in the kitchen.
Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this
Oh
bottle?
my God, I'm so smart.
No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me.
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations.
What?
But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains the medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they, that Mr. L visited otolaryngological clinic and was given medication that day.
You can't be serious.
The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. L. Glenn Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen?
Mon Dieu?
Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back.
No!
Order, that's extraordinary. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn?
Never! I could not do such an horrible thing!
No! Oh! Mr. Godot.
The bitterness. Every time I get light, I always down another coffee. That's what it
Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now?
But I like to do the same to the person I like to. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen, chef. How about a brand new flavor in there? My age-deficient friend. Je vous demande pardon, please. You must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor.
Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is fat. Por favor is Spanish.
I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? No, absolutely not. I simply, Let's hear it.
Didn't he say he downed that cup of coffee and the cup was not
He
empty?
got another cup. He drinks like 70 cups a case.
Yeah, but as soon as he drank it and he slammed it down and did the pop, it was like, oh, it was down a cup, and then throw my empty cup at the motherfucker. I know I'm paraphrasing, but
You've got one shot, right, Rams.
Witness, call upon me the chance to make one foul statement. You lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug waits. As does my gavel and my axe.
Oh, oui, it is clear.
what do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this.
That's a reference to the Star Wars.
Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me.
You were forced by who?
I cannot say, or I will be erased.
Let's try a different question. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table?
There was... There was another man.
I knew it.
Maggie was telling the truth.
Make cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
It's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer.
Tell me about the man. 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 Tell me about the man.
What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him.
Why'd you go along with it? I'll tell him. This man. This man.
Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong.
Quickest testimony ever.
This is the man that you've been referring to.
Who is that? I feel like I've seen him.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tenderlunga. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre, at least not while he had this on you.
A bunch of debt? Take that! Here you go.
A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, La Tigre, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting a victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried La body and my inconscient Maggie out of our dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. Boys on the lottery ticket I found the defense compartment. Is that your doing as well?
No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable.
Mr. Godot, you'll summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we'll adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. No, I got time for tomorrow. 30 minutes. What? Tomorrow will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand, not a minute.
How the...
Don't sit back and relax yet, buddy. No one knows that chef is very tough. The trial can still go on. Very well. What's his grand? Once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Till then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Thanks for watching this episode of Gabby the Game Night. I got subscribe because every simple bunny.
Love is a bit
Good night.
Gabby the Game Night, Gabby the Game Night, Gabby the Game Night, yay. Come on and watch her play. New games every other day. If you subscribe now, you won't miss out on any of the action. So come on, click that subscribe button.